Hi, Kiwi. Alright, here we go. Chapter 3, Seaside. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, good. Cycle-based platforming. Who could have seen that coming? Oh, I already hate this. Okay, actually, you know what? That one isn't so bad yet. I see what they wanted me to do on the right side, though, and that's where the problem comes. Yeah, I just have to get the rhythm down. Or try and skip a bunch of it with a hyper jump. Which, you know what, honestly? Let's see where it gets us. If I come out of the gate with this, yeah. Okay, I think I have a plan. Alright, we're gonna do this legit. This is gonna take long enough as it is, me just struggling to do this properly. I hope you like watching me die to ghosts. So, you know what, since we're on a ghost theme, why don't we talk about my favorite ghost-type Pokemon? So, we already know that Gengar is my favorite Pokemon as a whole, but in terms of design, I would honestly say Haunter is cooler looking. I love Gengar, though. He looks like you could hug him. Which, I mean, I feel like people would have a problem if I said you can hug someone with that kind of a smile. But conversely, consider that he has other facial expressions. That's just his resting, creepy face, if you will. But I love Gengar. Haunter is really cool, and Ghastly's also a favorite. Ghastly's my least favorite of the three, but he's still, like, top tier for me, unquestioning. Mischievous and Mismagius I also quite like. I feel like this is going to be a very superficial take. I guess I could also talk about my history using them in competitive. I mean, Chandelure I never personally used in competitive Pokemon, but I know he was an amazing special sweeper. I stuck with Gengar. Gengar was faster, I believe, and had slightly higher damage. Chandelure had advantage in terms of type matchups and a little bit more bulk, but not much. Ghost types notoriously have low defenses in lieu of high speed. Ghost types tend to be more glass cannon type Pokemon. They have high speed, high damage output, generally speaking. That or they run status ailment type abilities. As you're aware, I kind of fell out of Pokemon and didn't even touch Scarlet and Violet, so I don't know much about the Paradox Pokemon beyond what I've heard through like people commenting on them. But I've heard that Mischievous has a like Paradox Pokemon called, I think, Fluttermane that was so objectively broken that it was like banned immediately from competitive scene, which I find hilarious. It's curious how what Pokemon they decided to make Paradoxes out of. I don't necessarily understand why or how their decisions were made, but same reason on how they got Megas. They're either super popular or someone, probably a Game Freak, was like, this is my favorite Pokemon, let's do something special with it. But you know what, if that's the case, I respect that. But, I don't know. I remember as a kid not particularly liking the design of Mischievous, but it grew on me the more I played with her. I think Mischievous's base stats weren't amazing, but Mismagius was pretty solid. I don't think I ever used Mismagius competitively. Okay, I just have to not screw this up. I screwed it up in like 3 different directions. Alright, I think I kind of get the rhythm here. So if I take this as my starting point and then just... I have to pull back a little bit. But I think I've got the idea. It's all about neutral sticking, I think. There we go, yeah. If I can't go diagonal, I just plan around my inconsistencies. Or, I guess, my consistencies, maybe? So what's the plan here? I think I just use my dash as I usually do. Maybe I could probably do the speedrun tech off of that wall, but I feel like I need to somehow get this... Oh! Aha! So if you dash into this, it goes down faster. Good to know. Okay. Now to put this into use, or into practice. Oh, it's not if you dash into it, it's if you, like, crouch on it. Gotcha. I think I can just bounce off that wall, even if I can't do the speedrun tech reliably. I went for the speedrun tech anyway, there. It's fine. Me and cycle-based dodging just don't agree. Madeline's hitbox is really tiny when she's crouched too, so I can get away with more than I think I can. There we go. Speedrun tech, hooray! Now I just have to do that a second time, it seems. Haha! Well, I definitely got good practice at that trick in the summit. Alright, let's see what we have to deal with here. Is this the final stage already? No, I imagine we have one more to deal. Oh my... Okay, this is the last room. It's only 3 rooms long again, but we all know how that goes. Ah! Oh, I just got jump scared. I wasn't ready for him. Him being here might actually kind of make this a little bit easier if I can regenerate my dash off of him. Let's see what we can get. But this is going to take some doing. Sorry about that cut. I was once again kidnapped by a Kiwi of the present to do fun things. But we're back where we left off, and I'm going to keep rambling about my favorite ghost-type Pokemon, which is most of them, frankly. It is hands down my favorite type of Pokemon in the game. So, I guess I'll just kind of go in generation order off the top of my head. So, we talked about Ghastly, Haunter, Gengar, and Mischievous Mismagius. So, then comes Gen 3, which would be Banette, and... Oh, look at that. That was fancy. Banette and... Shaman? No, not... What am I saying? Not Shaman. Oh, God. Shuppet. Oh, my goodness. Let's not get those two mixed up. Those are two very, very different Pokemon. So, not gonna lie, I think Shuppet is cute, but he never really did much for me, and Banette, kind of a similar vibe. I think there's some really cool art of Banette out there, and I guess on the same note, I never used them competitively. They weren't particularly viable competitively. Mega Banette was a consideration for a little while, but, I mean, I love that Wolf Glick has said this himself. So Wolf Glick is reigning world champion of Pokemon Competitive, or at least he's won several world tournaments. He apparently used Mega Banette at least once in his career, and then immediately decided, well, this was a mistake, and like the rest of the competitive community, kind of just wrote it off as a non-entity, more or less. Oops. And so... Yeah, okay, I think this is entirely extra, but what if I just keep using the speedrun strat here? But yeah, I like the design enough to say it's better than nothing, but that's not high praise for me as a ghost-type enthusiast. On the other hand, Duskull, Dusknoir, and Dusclops, absolutely love that trio. Duskull was one of my favorites, and if I recall, he played a pretty central role in several things between... Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, or this line rather, played pretty important roles between Pokemon Mystery Dungeon and... Hold on, there we go. Whoop, whoop. Oh no, I wasted my dash. I could have regenerated it if I had gotten that jump on him, oh well. Anyway, yeah, they played a role in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, probably some of the anime. I was still watching the anime at this point. I think I stopped watching the anime around the time of 4th generation, roughly. Because I remember Dawn being a character, so I definitely didn't watch it into the 5th generation. But I've heard the Pokemon anime has been doing really well, actually. Alright. But I haven't touched it in a long while now. But I used Dusclops competitively with Eviolite in Gen 5 for a little bit. I also used Dusknoir just at base. Because he's a pretty solid tank. He gets Pain Split, which halves his, or adds up the total HP between him and his opponent and splits the difference between them. Which let him heal. He could use Curse, although I don't think Curse is terribly competitively viable just because it cuts your HP in half. And it's easily dealt with by switching. And most of the anti-switching moves are either not terribly viable in 1v1, which is where I mostly played competitive Pokemon. There we go. Okay, maybe the speedrun tech is just the sauce for this entire room. I'm gonna try for it. Yeah. Whee! Oh, well, I threw it there, and somehow I got the bounce on him, which killed me. Man. Anyway, but yeah, the Duskull line I absolutely adore. And I have used to some degree and to some success competitively. And then, who comes next? I mean, there was Giratina in Gen 4, who is amazing. I love Giratina, both in terms of design and, like, everything about him. He's the antimatter Pokemon, basically, so what's not to love about that idea? He's a ghost dragon. He looks cool. His origin form is terrifying, and while I haven't played Shadow Arceus, I'm well aware of its existence in that game, and how it shows up, which is kind of hilarious how it shows up, but I won't spoil it for you here, Kiwi, because I know you have the game and you want to play it, and I don't want to ruin that surprise for you when it happens. Okay, alright. So now what happens here? Okay, cycle-based platforming, my greatest strength. Okay, we made it. Okay. Alright. Oh, I need to jump on you, don't I? Okay, can I do this on first try? Here we go. No, I saved it. Wee-hee. I can do this. I got this. Oh, I didn't trust it, but I had it. I had it there. If I had just... Okay. Last try. Here we go. I committed. I gave up. Okay, here we go. Now I just have to get the timing down on this. There we go. I'm gonna grab this. So remember that part of me that said that having Mr. Oshiro around would make this easier? Yeah, that part of me is dead now. Look, I know this is entirely a skill issue on my part, but this room should not have taken me half an hour, or, well, it's only 20 minutes now, but still. Okay. I just have to figure out the timing and be good at this game. I can do one of those two things. I might not make this. Oh, barely made it. Okay, I think I'm just gonna depend on getting the jump here. Oh, we did it! Woo! Alright. I am going to leave this man the most scathing, heartless review on Yelp. 0 stars. I don't even think you can go that low. -3 stars. -10 stars. Mr. Oshiro, I will never return here until I have no choice but to return here, but let's not talk about that. Chapter 3, Seaside complete. And if I wasn't already cognizant of my mental health, I would probably choose to do Chapter 4's Seaside as well. But I think I'm going to take a break here, Kiwi. There comes a time in every young man... every man's life where they have to face things they don't want to, where they have to deal with concepts and realities that are far beyond the scope of what they're willing to accept. And right now, I have to deal with the fact that I have to play Chapter 4 again in what I presume to be a more difficult form of what the B-side already was. Hi Kiwi, we're back at Celeste, and this is only gonna go poorly, so I hope you enjoy watching my suffering as I return to the existential crisis that is cloud platforming. Except no clouds yet, and I've already died like 3 times. It's fine. 4 times? Okay, how is one even supposed to get through here? Is there a momentum sort of thing? Maybe if I pop out of the bubble as soon as I get into it? No, I don't necessarily see how this works. Oh! I'm using the speedrun tech on that little platform here. So I'm doing the ledge hop. So I bet... Yeah. Okay. Ooh, that's so tricky. Ooh, I like it. I hate it. I like it. I hate it. It's awesome. Okay. And then I think I have to use the... I have to grab that wall, get a jump off of it, and then... I gotcha. Fair enough. Alright, well... We're already at Chapter 4, and it's not holding any punches, but we're fine. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that's the room 1 done. Okay, that was avoidable. Alright, telescope. What have we got? Okay. Oh, I have to platform around this. Alright, I think I already see some of this fancy sauce here. Ooh, okay. So, it's... You gotta be fast here. Yeah, I think... you need to use the wall on the right. You have to, yeah, I think, or, no, I'll probably need my dash later, so let's assume as much. There we go. Yeah, I have to use my dash to get back onto the platform while dodging the spikes. Alright, so quick. Anyway, in the last episode I was rambling about my favorite ghost-type Pokemon, and we got through the the Gengar-line. Let's talk about Drifblim and Drifloon. Some others of my favorites. So, ghost-type Pokemon tend to have really kind of dark Pokedex entries, and if I recall, Drifloon, like, spirits away children who hold its hands, its little, like, strings. It just takes it like flies away with them, or just flies away with their spirits, which is super dark, but that's kind of Pokemon in a nutshell. They love making dark history or dark Pokedex entries for certain Pokemon, or things that just don't seem like physically possible, which just makes it even funnier, like how, what is it, either Slugma or Markargo's body temperature is, oh my goodness, really, we have to do it again. The people who made this game are absolute monsters. Oh, what a room. Oh boy. Alright, so yeah, I have to you have to just constantly hop around the top of this thing. This is insane. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, so Drifloon steals children's souls. Already a great Pokemon. Not because it still steals children's souls, I should clarify, although, what do I care? There are some points earned for that too, because it's just funny. But I genuinely, like, I have very fond memories of Drifblim. I used him for a little while in competitive because you could teach him acrobatics, which was a really strong flying move that does more damage if your Pokemon is not holding an item. And the trick to using it effectively in competitive was... hold on. Yes! Okay, whew, close. Is this the last room already? Can't believe we made it here in like 4 minutes. Oh good, platforming. Oh good, it's a very, very long room. Oh my, how long is this room? Look at that little nubbin. How are you even supposed to... Oh, I bet there's wind. I bet there's gonna be wind here that carries you. I just don't see it yet. This room is ridiculously long. Oh, okay. Well, there's the wind that I predicted. Anyway, I used Drifblim in competitive, combination of, I used Acrobatics and Shadow Ball. I think it had better special attack than physical attack, and I believe Acrobatics was a physical attack, but because of the power boost that it got, you could use it very effectively as a mixed attacker, meaning it uses both special and physical moves to kind of throw your opponent off. I mean, if your opponent can't predict that you're going to be a mixed attacker, you have a lot of options for not quite mind games, but may as well call them that, for lack of a better term. Ways to get around your opponent's strategies and make it less predictable so they don't switch into like a physically bulky or a specially bulky defensive option. Although I guess by that point a lot of people came to know and respect the acrobatic strategy because it was viable on a lot of Pokemon. It was kind of a pretty strong strategy for... This was Gen 5 if I recall, yeah. Was it? No. No, you guys must be you guys are definitely Gen 4. It was Gen 4 into Gen 5. I think the majority of my competitive history for like actual legit competitive and not just beating up my friends in the schoolyard was Gen 4 and Gen 5. After that, I kind of fell off Pokemon because I just didn't have the time to enjoy it with undergrad and graduate school. But yeah, I also, the reason why I remember Drifblim so fondly, aside from just loving its design, loving its like lore, if you will, is my first ever legitimate Nuzlocke, I think, happened in Pokemon, I want to say Pokemon White version. It may have been, I forget if I got white or black. I think no, you know what, I got black version because I thought Zekrom looked way cooler than Reshiram. Anyway, I used him in my first ever Nuzlocke, and he was a core member of my team, so I got a lot of sentimental value with him. I do not remember the nickname I gave him, but I do remember he died at the very end against, I don't think it was Cynthia, so it must have been, I forget his name, but the Gen 5, you know what, no, this was, I think this Nuzlocke was Sun and Moon. I take that back. My first ever Nuzlocke was Sun and Moon. and I used Drifblim there, and he made it all the way to the Elite Four after I first caught him, and so immediate sentimental value just for that alone. But then he dies at the very end of the challenge. He was, I think, I got almost fully wiped by the Elite Four, honestly. I think I got it to the champion, and I just remember Drifblim died so that Poliwhirl Tom could win the Elite Four. Why did I have a Poliwhirl? I think because the water type I was using died, and you get Poliwhirl from trading someone, if I recall. Okay. Oh wow, this wind is strong. You don't really get a choice. I think you have to go straight down there. Wow, this wind is so strong. I wonder if there's a way to skip the cloud there, but probably not. But oh yeah, I mentioned briefly Giratina, but Giratina was so cool to me when it came out. One, just its existence in the lore, and this was before Platinum and Origin form came out. But I thought, like, he looks a little goofy with his 6 legs. I still think he's an awesome Pokemon, and what was it? Shadow Force, I think it was called, was one of my favorite moves in the game, because it's basically Fly but Ghost type and has 120 base power and hits through Protect, which at that time was largely unheard of. There were no defense-breaking moves like that, aside from Brick Break, which didn't break Protect, it only removed Light Screen and Barrier type moves, which gives your opponent's team a defensive buff for either physical or special, depending on which one you use. So Giratina was awesome. I loved him. And Frostless, I was so happy about Frostless, because I think I mentioned it in my Cassette Beast playthrough. I really like the concept of Yukionas, and Ice types are probably my second favorite types, even though they're terribly competitively unviable for the longest time. Okay, you have to go diagonal, gotcha. But, yeah, I really love Frostless. I was never able to really make her work competitively. I did use Weather Teams in Gen 5 particularly, but compared to Sandstorm and Rain, especially Rain, and then even Sunny Day teams, Hail just felt like the worst option in terms of Weather Teams, because back then, Ice types just lacked any form of bulk, and they have some of them, I believe they have the most weaknesses out of any type in the game. So they just really were not at all competitively viable, sadly. And Frostless, I mean, Snowcloak made her evasive, because the way it works is it boosts, I believe it boosts your evasion in Hail. But even then, the group of friends I played with were generally looked down upon evasion boosting tactics, and I'm inclined to agree. It's not fun to play against a, like if you're playing, it feels good to create a strategy and then lose it to bad RNG, you know? So we generally avoided, our house rules, if you will, were no Pokemon with above base 600 stats. Oh god, that's going to be very fast. Oof. No Pokemon above base 600 stats, and no legendaries, of course. If it's banned in competitive, it's banned in house rules as well, even if it does have they follow all the other rules. And whoops, well, and then just anything else that seemed reasonable to the group as a whole, which we were a sizable group of Pokemon enthusiasts back then. I can think of at least, oh gosh, it was like an entire room's worth of people, probably at least 10 of us. There were a lot of people in my friend group who played Pokemon back in the day, and I think that's why I fell off of Pokemon 2. It was a social experience as much as anything else. And now it's just me being alone and sad. Which, wow, that feels bad. Alright, I'm getting more consistent at this section, and I can just fall right into this. Well... Okay, here we go. Okay, let the wind push me into this. Oh, okay. Oh, Oh, we gotta run fast, but okay, that's the home stretch. I remember. It's just those platforms get progressively smaller and smaller. But I can do... that's the closest I've gotten to the finish line, Kiwi. It's only probably another 10 minutes away. If the previous Seasides have anything to give me a sense of how long this takes. Okay, we're back here. Fall into this. I didn't go vertical. Womp womp. And a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a... No, I touched it, Kiwi! That was so close! That was so close! I seem to be really consistent in getting back here, though, which is pretty nice. Alright, here we go. And woo! Okay. Wow, I don't know what clicked, but suddenly I was just getting to this point every time. I just... oh. Okay. Whew. Chapter 4 Seaside complete. Oh, there aren't even achievements associated with these? I guess they didn't expect people to do them. Or maybe there's one for completing all of them. Either way, that's another Seaside down. Down. Another Seaside down. He-sides, B-sides, by the seasides. Okay. Well, historically this has been one of the kinder chapters to me, so I'm hopeful the Seaside will be similar. We will find out. Alright, may as well get started. Alright, back to the Shoggoth Temple. Oh, you know what? I just realized there are going to be Shoggoths here. That's not going to be fun. I remember really, really enjoying the B-side here, so, well, I guess we'll see what we're in for. Huh. This is interesting. What is my goal here? I think I see what I'm supposed to do. Seems kind of unreliable. There we go. I doubt this is actually what they intend, but maybe it... oh, no. I think I see what it is. I have to momentum jump off of this one, latch onto this one, grab the jump juice, and then repeat that at least 2 more times. Oh, that's gross. I don't... oh, this is going to take some practice. Or maybe I just do this. Maybe I'm making this more difficult than I think I'm making this more difficult than it needs to be, maybe? We'll try the easier way first and see what it gets us. That feels doable, he says while dying immediately. Well, I'm gonna litmus test this a little bit, and in the meantime, let's keep talking about Pokemon. So, Rotom, or Rotom. I have mixed opinions about Rotom. The design is very cute, and I do think it's a good design, but for some reason, it doesn't do something. There's something about it that I seem to dislike, which is a shame, because Rotom deserves better than my disdain. I thought the different forms it gets rather interesting, but I mean, if you played competitive, the only one that mattered was Rotom Wash, and so I never really got to see the other forms reliably. Okay, this doesn't feel right. I think the speedrun strat is the strat, which, oh gosh, that's gonna be awful to do properly. But wish me luck. I think I just have to try and carry myself forward as much as possible, but somehow not get hit by those spikes. Like, I don't see the positioning, but I'm sure this is what they intended. Ugh, gosh. Maybe it's not. Maybe I am making this more difficult. I don't feel like I am, which is such a scary thought. These devs, they're evil. They couldn't be happy making one of the best precision platformers in the world. They had to make it the hardest precision platformer in the world. Okay, I think I've got an idea of how to beat this room, but it is so unreasonably difficult. So what I have to do is I have to get the momentum jump or the upwards dash off of this, bounce here, grab the next one over, and very quickly thereafter, grab the jump off of it, grab this, and then do the same thing 2 more times. Please, please. Oh, we're free. Kiwi. Kiwi. I know you can't tell because of the speedrun timer resetting every time I died in that room. That probably took 20 minutes at least. That was harder than some of the room 3s in the other seasides. I have to, like... Oh my goodness, that was so hard. Ugh. Alright, this one seems tentatively doable. Maybe? I see what it wants me to do. Whoa, what the? What just happened there? Okay. Anyway, I think I've calmed down a little bit. All right, next, I was talking about Rotom, right? Oh gosh, man, I just that room required so much brain capacity. I just could not offer any form of meaningful commentary over it. Meine Güte, what an experience. So anyway, so Rotom Wash was a really good combination of bulk, so like surviving hits, and damage, because he could use Scald, and I haven't played the recent gen. I may have heard that Scald is no longer in the recent gen, or it at least got nerfed. I'm not sure which. Again, I did that weird glitch again, or whatever this is. I don't think that's what's intended here, but frankly, I'm not quite clear what is intended. Because I can't seem to make that jump, so I must be missing something. I have no way of conserving my dash, though. What? I just had an evil idea. What if I'm supposed to do the momentum jump here? Oh, that would be crazy. Whoa! Whoa! Okay, I did it! Whoa, that was crazy! Oh, that's so cool. Alright, this room is a lot easier compared to the last one, if you figure out the trick. But the difficulty comes from solving the puzzle. Wow. Okay, so this is room 3, so presumably this is where things get really tricky and really unnecessarily long. Okay, so given how this place has been, I'm going to assume I need to use the momentum jump as usual. So, oh, am I gonna have to? I'm gonna have to do it out of the orange bubbles. That's disgusting. Okay, but I see what they're going for here. Okay, the timing is gonna throw me off because I feel like I need to leave the bubble a little earlier, and for some reason I went diagonal there. Anyway, so Rotom Wash, I saw a lot. I never really considered it much of a threat because I guess the team I was running tended to counter it pretty well. I ran Togekiss, who could paralyze it and then flinch lock it, because I was that kind of awful human being who used we called them para-hacks, but like just status ailment spam pretty much. And then I used Ferrothorn, which could answer it pretty well. And who else did I use? Trying to think. Well, no matter. The point being is my teams handled Rotom Wash pretty well, so it was bulky, it was kind of annoying, and if it got the burn on my physical sweeper, it was a problem. But generally, I didn't consider it much of a threat. Just an inconvenience, if anything, a time waster. The other Rotom forms, like, I've seen so little of because they just were never competitively viable. What were they? They were Rotom Fridge, Rotom... I wonder. Yeah, you can definitely go that way, but I wonder if this is a trap because okay, and yeah, and then you have to do the momentum jump there. Okay, so there are 2 ways to solve this first section, it seems. Pick your poison, if you will. I I think this poison is slightly less toxic. That's a weird comment, or a weird phrasing. I digress. Yeah, so anyway, there was Rotom fan, refrigerator, lawnmower, I think? Yeah, there was a lawnmower. And then I forget what else. Ugh, this... Remember when I said Chapter 5 was a friend? I feel like today, particularly this video, everything I've said with confidence, which I guess in hindsight, everything I've said with confidence has backfired horrendously. I don't know what my goal was there. Anyway, I digress. Rotom, I don't really care for any of its other forms either. Design-wise, I don't know why, they just look kind of gross to me. But I openly acknowledge that I am fundamentally wrong on this. I think Rotom's design is genius. I just have personal feelings that are wrong about it. I mean, that's the nature of opinions. They're only wrong. They're always wrong unless they're yours, right? But yeah, Rotom never did much for me. I do quite like how they made him the Pokedex, though. I think that's kind of cool. Because it makes sense. If he can possess any appliance, why not let him possess the Pokedex? I think I need to be a little bit faster there, but that's the motion there, it seems. Let's see. So then there's Yamask and Cofagrigus. Not a big fan of Yamask's design, but I quite like... I think Cofagrigus is awesome. And then there was Runigigris, however you pronounce it, who was the other evolution you could get from Yamask if you got the Galarian form, so Sword and Shield form. I definitely think they both look really cool, but I have a strong preference towards Cofagrigus. Also, his passive, which I think is called Mummify, is pretty hilarious because if he gets hit by a physical move, he has a 30% chance of giving the opponent the same passive, which means you can switch him out. He is defensively bulky. I forget how his special defense is, but I know his physical defense was pretty solid, and he had a pretty good HP stat as well. So he was a decent tank, and a ghost type one at that, which can be hard to come by. And ghost typing is a reasonably decent defensive typing. Not a whole lot of resistances, but not a whole lot of weaknesses either. Primarily ghost and dark type are their weaknesses. I don't think there are any others that I can think of off the top of my head. Plus it denies fighting type moves and normal type moves. It doesn't resist them, but it completely nullifies them. And fighting type moves are pervasive throughout competitive, to my understanding. They're pretty up there in terms of maybe not using the fighting type itself, but using their moves to great effect. And then, I don't know. I think Cofagrigus is an awesome Pokemon. He looks so cool. Just going with the whole Egyptian sarcophagus vibe, but then making it its own thing with the ghost type Pokemon. I just think it's awesome. It's a really cool mon. Frillish and Jellicent. Oh, Jellicent. It's so dumb looking, and I love it. Frillish is whatever. I'm not a big fan of Frillish. Or I shouldn't say that. I mean, like, when I say I'm not a big fan of anything, that is like me saying, okay, it's like the least favorite of all my favorites. So I still love it. I don't feel things the way for it like I do the other ones. Jellicent I use competitively. I think he's hilarious. He has a giant mustache, and then the Queen version, there's a giant pink and a giant blue jellyfish Pokemon. They're hilarious. They're really cute. I love their designs. They were actually pretty solid. Again, a defensively bulky water type with access to Scald. So anything that could use Scald was a good Pokemon in general, honestly. Scald was such a debilitating move if used correctly because it had a pretty high chance of burning the opponent. And I mean, it's 30% chance, which seems low on paper, but I swear that thing burned 100% of the time when I used it. I rarely saw a Pokemon go unburned after using Scald on it at least 2 or 3 times. That might just be my competitive luck, because I don't have good RNG anywhere else, it seems. But, yeah. It was I quite like the design. And then, of course, the other Gen 5 Ghost type of Legend, the Litwick, Lampent, and Chandelure line. I love Litwick. I know he's a candle, but I think he's a little cupcake with a fire on his head, and I love him, and he's so cute. Or she, I don't know. Why am I gendering these things? But regardless, it is adorable. It's one of my favorite Pokemon, hands down, in terms of, like, base form. And Chandelure is up there, too. Lampent, unfortunately, suffers from middle stage syndrome with Pokemon, I believe. So it doesn't do anything terribly special for me. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, there's a button. Oh, no. Wait, I can salvage this. Hold on. They gave me so much room to salvage this. Oh my god, Kiwi, we did it! This is the end. The only other thing I'll say about Chandelure, aside from having faced him a ton and... Oh, let's not throw this. Alright, I'm gonna borrow my brain. I don't know why I needed my brain for that, but that was a little too spooky for me. Alright. Yeah, it was really just that first room. That first room of the seaside was nightmarish. It was so unbelievably difficult. Wow. Anyway, that's another seaside complete. Also, Chandelure is awesome, and you should love him. Also, I can't help but, if you've ever heard of, I forget who sings it. It may have been Sia or Rihanna. I don't follow most English. I don't follow a lot of the modern pop songs, but the song Chandelier. If you've never seen the parody of that song, Chandelier, I think it's called, or just look up Chandelier Swedish Chef. It's the Muppet Swedish Chef singing that song, and I don't know why I find it so funny, but I found it hilarious, and I named my Chandelier Chandelier after that. That's all I wanted to say. I love Chandelier, or Chandelure rather. I love chandeliers. They're very pretty. We made one in Minecraft, and it looked awesome. We should play. Maybe I'll play Minecraft on this channel one day, just as something like super chill. Either way, Kiwi, I hope you've enjoyed watching, and if you're awake, I hope you're asleep. My brain is fried after these seasides, I swear. We're almost done with them, though, which is crazy. Oh god, I just thought about the core having a seaside. I digress. Focus. Kiwi, I hope if you're awake, this is helping you fall asleep, and if you're awake, I hope this is helping you fall asleep, and if you're awake, I am so fried. I love you, Kiwi. I hope you're sleeping well. I'll see you in the next one.